Welcome to the Introduction to Construction Project Management for Housing in NAN Communities. This is the first module where we will provide an introduction and an overview of the course, as well as some beginner key concepts that we will go over throughout the course. We would like to acknowledge our funder at CMHC, who funded the project Community-Led Designs for Specialized Housing in the North through the Housing Supply Challenge Getting Started round. However, the views expressed are the personal views of the author, and CMHC accepts no responsibility for them. This course is being offered in partnership with the Faculty of Community Services at Toronto Metropolitan University and Wausau Distance Education Centre. We would like to thank both of our partners for coming together to help make this course happen. Now we will introduce the instructors that you will be interacting with throughout this course. My name is Erin Meller, and I am a project coordinator within the Infrastructure and Housing Department here at Nishnawbe Aski Nation. I've worked in the Housing and Infrastructure Department for the last 5 years, mainly focused on implementing the NAN Housing Strategy. I've had the privilege to travel to several NAN communities and explore housing and infrastructure projects across the NAN territory. I have also had the privilege of hosting the NAN Housing Conference for the last 3 years, where I was able to learn about the barriers, challenges, and solutions that NAN communities are implementing across the territory.
Hi, I'm Jeff Herskowitz, and I work with Together Design Lab at Toronto Metropolitan University. I'm excited to be one of the instructors for this course, and I will try to share my experience of housing project management throughout the course. We, at Together Design Lab, have worked as partners of Nishnawbe Aski Nation in the development of the NAN Housing Strategy and its related projects like Creating a Home for Our Youth, Recording Our Truth, and the project that makes this course possible, Community-Led Design for Specialized Housing in the North. Throughout this work, I've had the good fortune of traveling to many NAN communities and learning more about the territory and people's goals for desires and change in the housing system to end the housing emergency. I've also had the chance to meet with many people involved in housing development at symposiums, in your community, and at other events. And I've learned and listened from those folks what's needed to help make their housing programs run better and to create sustainable long-term change. Some of those conversations are what led to the creation of this course. And as we were building this course, we tried to address as many of the concerns that we heard on the ground as possible and tailor the learning to the specific situations that you face building housing in the North. I hope that in the modules I teach, I can share my more than decade of experience working on housing projects, from governance to design to administration, to support your learning. And I wish you all the best as you start this course and with your future projects.
Jeff and I are part of a larger team that has partnered on the NAN Housing Strategy. Nishnawbe Aski Nation and Together Design Lab at Toronto Metropolitan University have worked together on housing and infrastructure related projects over the past 7 years. Both of our teams have a full housing system experience, including design, build projects, governance and administration, community planning, and strategy planning. Our teams also have a diverse set of skills and experience, including architecture, engineering, lived experience of youth, waste management, planning, fire prevention, and emergency management. We also have significant experience implementing multi-year partnership-based projects with Northern First Nations and the challenges of working with remote fly-in settings. We have multiple ongoing partnerships with communities, tribal councils, and funders. Here are some photos from our engagement sessions when we were first developing the NAN Housing Strategy. NAN and Together Design Lab traveled to multiple communities to gather community input on how the NAN Housing Strategy should address the housing emergency across NAN territory. Workshops were hosted in community where elders, youth, housing housing managers, chiefs, councils, and anyone who wanted to participate could come and give their input on housing and infrastructure and what changes they wanted to see within that system. One of our most recent projects, Community-Led Designs for Specialized Housing in the North, or ColdShine, launched in 2021 under the NAN Housing Strategy with the goal of developing shovel-ready housing plans for those in greatest need. Through an extensive co-design process with community members from across NAN with lived experience and architects with technical experience, 7 housing designs have been developed, and we'll discuss some of those later in this course. This course has been designed to support ongoing work through the NAN Housing Strategy to advance capacity development and training within NAN communities. Now, let's go over what you can expect from this course. This self-directed course will introduce you to the principles of construction project management and the foundational knowledge required to lead and manage housing construction projects in Nishnawbe Aski Nation communities. We have combined existing material from 12 different sources to create this introduction course. In addition, we have also used the experience of the teaching team and our learnings from working together in NAN over the last 7 years to make the material relevant to the situations that you may face. So why should you take this course? Building your skill set by learning the basics of construction project management, including key principles and approaches that you can apply to your own work and projects. And you can earn a certificate. After completing this course, you will be eligible to receive a certificate of achievement in Introduction to Construction Project Management for Housing in NAN Communities. This course is designed as a starting point for housing professionals and anyone else who is interested in learning more about the construction of housing in NAN. You may have some awareness of general construction terminology or familiarity with housing construction projects, but this is not a requirement to take the course. This course might be worthwhile to take if you are a housing professional working within the NAN territory, you are not a housing professional but are interested in housing construction in NAN, or if you are new to your role or simply want to learn more about best practices or common challenges to avoid, or you may have been in your role for many years but want to learn how you can improve the management of your construction projects. This course is only an introduction, so you shouldn't expect to become an expert in project management after completing it. The goal is to introduce some basic project management concepts and suggest additional resources for further guidance to help you better understand you or your community's construction process. Lessons learned from the course can help you apply project management principles such as scheduling, risk assessment, stakeholder management, and monitoring in your own work. By the end of the course, you should be able to identify the 4 phases of a construction project and the steps required to successfully manage a project in each phase, explain the importance of project management and clear project scoping to community leaders, and select one or more project management principles or approaches to apply in your own work and your own projects. We will now review the course structure and get you familiar with how the course will be delivered over the next 22 modules. This is a virtual and self-directed course made up of 22 video modules. You can complete this course at your own pace at whatever time works best for you. To be eligible for a certificate of achievement, you are expected to complete all video modules and 4 quizzes offered through Wix. All video content is also publicly available on NAN's YouTube page in case there are topics you'd like to reference at a later date or share with your project team. This first module is just an introduction to the material and structure of the course. This course is organized into 4 content sections that align with the typical stages of construction project management projects, including project initiation, planning and pre-construction, construction and monitoring, and post-construction and closeout. A total of 22 module videos will introduce the following topics. You can pause here to review the topics. To get you started using Wix, videos will appear within each module. The progress bar shows you how much of the course you have completed to date. Each module video can be accessed through the table of contents on the left side of the screen. The number of steps in each section tells you how many module videos are within that section. If you would like to add closed captions or subtitles, those can be enabled by clicking CC in the bottom right corner of the video. Slide decks, activity worksheets, and transcripts of each module are available below each video and can be downloaded. At the end of each section, you will be expected to complete a multiple choice quiz which summarizes your learning from that section. Don't forget, you must complete all quiz questions before moving to the next section. Once you complete all 4 quizzes, you will receive your certificate of achievement. Now that we've reviewed how to use Wix and what can be expected from this course, this first video module will review some of the key principles of project management, reasons to use project management within your work, and the key stages in the construction project management process. We have a lot to cover, so we're going to get started. We'll begin by talking about what project management is. Project management is the process of managing people with various levels of technical or administrative expertise to achieve the time, cost, and quality objectives of a project from start to finish. The project management process is typically led by one person called the project manager. Successful project management requires skills in planning, organization, and leading to ensure that a project has a clear set of goals and objectives, and that these objectives are achieved at all stages. Project management can be thought of in different ways, including as a body of knowledge or as elements in a process. Different ways to visualize project management are included on the next slide. The left image here shows everything a project manager needs to know or keep in mind, hence why it has been framed as a body of knowledge. Here, the project manager is framed as responsible for understanding and overseeing all parts of the project process under a larger umbrella. There is no concern about process or how these elements actually work together in practice. It's just a compilation of all the things a project manager should keep in mind. The right image, however, is very concerned with process and how a project manager's role relates to various elements of a project, like funds and time. Here, the project manager is seen as a coordinating body. The project manager may not directly control funds or technical resources, but they are responsible for coordinating with all of the people or elements outside of their control to make sure the final deliverable, in this case the completed facility, is produced. So why use project management? Establishing project management and having a dedicated project manager helps to ensure that a project is completed on time, on budget, to a set quality standard, and in a manner that prioritizes the health and safety of all of those involved. The value of project management can be quantified as an amount of money saved that would have otherwise been spent on cost overruns or fixing poor quality infrastructure, or the amount of time saved by keeping a project on schedule. The value of project management can also be understood qualitatively, like the perceived benefit of having a clear and coordinated process. Some key principles to keep in mind during project management projects include commitment, must be committed to achieving the objectives of the project and working collaboratively with the project team to ensure objectives are met. Organization, must be organized with a project work plan and scheduling. Clear communication, must provide clear directions and expectations at all stages of the project planning and execution to all members of the project team. Monitoring, must continually monitor the project and report on progress to ensure that the project remains on time and on budget. Coordination, must coordinate between all stakeholders involved in a project, from project leadership to technical experts. Negotiation, often responsible for resolving issues between different stakeholders and reevaluating project budgets and contracts as changes occur to mitigate or respond to risk. And context, must draw upon their past experiences and the technical experiences of the project team to successfully advance a project. Every project is different and presents different challenges. These key principles can also be thought of as the skills of a project manager and will be discussed in future modules as we work our way through the project management process. Successful project management requires a clear understanding of the various stages of a construction project. Broadly understood, the construction project management process alternates between stages of planning, executing, and controlling or monitoring. There are many tools that can be used to keep track of the actions needed throughout the project and who is responsible for what. This example here is from Indigenous and Northern Affairs Canada. As discussed earlier in this module, for the purpose of this course, the construction process will be divided into 4 stages with each a series of teaching models. The first, project initiation or project definition, usually begins before funding is confirmed. It includes all of the research that a project manager needs to do after they receive a directive from Chief and Council to determine whether a project should be funded and approved. The second, planning and pre-construction, typically begins once funding is approved. It includes securing drawings and specifications, developing plans for scheduling and monitoring, and formally assembling and managing the project team. The third, construction and monitoring, includes tendering, procurement, and monitoring progress to ensure that the project is completed on time and on budget. The last, being post-construction or closeout, happens when the construction is complete. It includes inspections to ensure that quality standards set during project initiation are met, and reporting, including closing of contracts. What would you like to learn from this course? Take a moment to pause here and reflect on some of the things you would like to take away from this course. At the end of each module, you will find a page similar to this. It will have a list of references and resources that were used to develop each module. If you would like to learn more about something that was discussed within the module, please refer to the references on this page. If you are having issues finding these references, please feel free to reach out to us at nanhousing@nan.ca.